आप लोग का? जी.
Thank you.
Huma ने बहुत साथ दिया हमको picture में. She was amazing, and I didn't know Huma, and I came to India and auditioned several actresses, but Huma just jumped out at me. I have to say, in the same way that Keira Knightley did for Bend It Like Beckham. I didn't know Keira Knightley either, but Huma had that very natural quality, very feisty, you know, and plus she looked very hutkuti Punjabi, you know. I liked that, and I'm so pleased because all during the shooting, you know, she would question me a lot, you know, and I liked that. Maybe not at the time, but
Definitely not at the time.
but she really, her contribution was fantastic.
I like the way she's listening to this, you know. She's like, what is Gurinder about to say about me, you know?
Yeah, she's a tricky one. You never know what she's going to say. So I have to keep telling her, you can't say this.
Right. You can say a lot of things जो कि हम सुनना चाहते हैं यहाँ पे about your role, the preparations. लेकिन उस सबसे पहले, you know, Partition 1947. How do you relate to this subject?
Well, I think as Indians growing up in India, everyone relates to the partition. We all have, you know, our parents or grandparents have experienced something. तो partition जैसी word आप सुनते हो कहीं ना कहीं एक emotional connection तो आ ही जाता है. और मेरी family का भी है. Thankfully painful नहीं है क्योंकि कोई भी किसी की भी loss of life नहीं था. But घर छोड़ना या अपने घर वालों या loved ones के बारे में चिंता करना कि वो safe हैं, घर वापस आएंगे या नहीं, it's not a good feeling. And the fact that so many people were forced to leave their homes, you know, they didn't want to. And that choice should not be given to any human being. किसी भी इंसान को force किया जाए कि अपना घर छोड़ के चला जाए for a political reason, I think it's not right. And what I loved about the script when I read, it's such a, I mean, of course, there's the politics and there's all the research that Gurinder and her husband Paul have put in the film. But it's so human. And it talks about something very simple. About humanity, about love, and that's what I loved about the film. And all the characters are flawed, they're passionate, they have ambitions, they have hopes, they have dreams, and you sort of go like कि आज के दुनिया में भी हम देखें तो ये आज भी हो रहा है ना, तो हमने क्या 70 years से कुछ सीखा है, मतलब जो हम क्या वो same mistakes बार-बार ही करते रहेंगे. So I think in a small way, it's all of us have tried to say that.
It's a
Very well said.
It's a very contemporary film, even though it is set 70 years ago. जब हम शुरू किया था फिल्म लिखने के लिए, ओबामा was president, सीरिया में कोई जंग नहीं था, और यूरोप में ब्रेक्सिट भी नहीं था. कौन सोच सकता था जब ट्रम्प president बनेगा? Who would have thought of Brexit? Nobody would have thought of these things when we started making the film. So during the course of the film, the world went ulta-pulta, basically. And I think that now I was in Australia last month, and we released the film there. People really loved the film in Australia because they felt it was very modern, and also in Australia they have their own border policies, their own divisions, you know. So I think the film is a very Indian story in its heart, but actually it's a very global story because you know, partition, refugees, this is the state of our world today. Politicians will always try and divide us because it's easier to rule us if we're divided.
Right. Australia को छोड़ते हैं, हमारे देश में भी I'm sure ये बहुत धमाका मचाएगी film. The name is Partition 1947, and now, ladies and gentlemen, it's over to you. आप लोग के जो भी सवाल हैं आप पूछ सकते हैं, but before that we'll have a quick photo op. So I'll take the mics, है ना? Yeah, I'll just take. जी. We have another photo op. मत लीजिए, यहीं रखो. छोड़ दीजिए. आ रहा है? Thank you so much. Now, yeah, we will do that. We'll have another photo op, but we'll just have the question answer round, yeah? It's over to you. Please be seated. No, please.
Thank you.
please have a seat. Huma, please have a seat.
No, we're good actually. Standing is
You good?
We're
Yeah,
fine.
cool. We'll take the chairs out. Ji. Gurinder, this is for you.
always.
हुमा जी
जी.
ऑन योर राइट हाय हुमा जी जैसा कि हम सभी ने देखा कि इस ट्रेलर में हमने देखा और इस फिल्म में ओमपुरी जी भी हैं लेकिन अब वो हमारे बीच में नहीं है तो आई थिंक वो आपके डैडी बने हैं इस फिल्म में करेक्ट तो कैसा रहा उनके साथ का एक्सपीरियंस अगर आप कुछ शेयर करना चाहें क्योंकि ये उनकी वन ऑफ द लास्ट फिल्म थी तो अगर आप कुछ बता पाए
जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल उनकी आखिरी फिल्म में से एक है और ओम जी मेरे अब्बा प्ले कर रहे हैं फिल्म में एंड आई थैंक गुरिंदर कि उन्होंने इतने प्यारे अब्बा दिए मुझे बिकॉज फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट मोमेंट दैट आई मेट हिम he was just such a lovely person to be with. Of course, he's a very, very fine actor, whether it's been in India or in the West. And we all will fondly remember his huge body of work. But I think वो इंसान बहुत बढ़िया थे. At least he was very warm and loving with me. And he used to call me Beti also. He came to my house, in fact, last year, almost this time, you know, Eid ke time pe. And my parents met him. And it was so lovely to have him over. And I think it's a great loss. And I feel my scenes with him in the film are some of my favorite scenes, especially the one in the back of the car. where हम एक सीन कर रहे थे जब मुझे लगा और गुरिंदर को भी लगा कि अच्छा टेक है and he was just sitting next to me. He didn't even have lines and he said एक और करते हैं मेरे लिए and both of us went like but ये तो अच्छा shot था and we did another take and when you see the film you'll realize it's come out so beautiful and so emotional and I think only an actor who's worked so much in theatre, in film, in different languages has that kind of experience to really I guess tell, you know, when you really hit the spot.
I think for Omji, when I gave him the script, he was very happy because obviously being Punjabi, he was happy that I was Punjabi and a woman and taking this subject, which he was very dear to his heart. But even though it was a serious film, the abiding memory of Omji was that he was a complete and utter joker on set. He was in the scene with Hansraj Hansji, and his character is blind and old and has to sit still. But whenever the music started, he wanted to get up and jump up and sing and dance. And we had to keep stopping him because he kept getting into shot while he was dancing. But also there were many extras in that scene. And he loved to joke with them. And there was one poor fellow who was an extra, but we'd given him a line, and he was supposed to go and hand him a plate of pakoras. And this poor fellow was very nervous. Anyway, Omji is blind in the film, and he would walk up to him in this one take, and he gave him the pakoras and went, Abba, pakore! And Ompuri said, no, definitely.
मैं अंधा हूँ बहरा नहीं हूँ.
No, that's it. And that was in the middle of a take, so we had to cut. But the thing about Ompuri was that he lived life to the full, you know. He enjoyed himself. Off camera, he was doing his little business with, you know, a few tipples here and there, but enjoying himself as he was shooting. And I think he couldn't wait to see the film. I know I had exchanged some comments with him. So my only sad thing is that he's not here to see the film. But every day on the set, he would always come up to me and say, Bibi ji, tu bahut acha kaam kar rahi hai. Kari ja, kari ja. Yeah.
Gurinder ma'am, hi. Hi, I'm Hoshan Katrak from Parsi Times. Chadha ji, aapke liye ek question hai.
Ji.
When we talk of independence, one of the first films which come to mind is Gandhi. It's been almost 35 years since the film was released. What parallels would you draw between the two films?
Well, I think the biggest parallel is the subject time, you know, 1947, and the fact that that was also made by a British director. And I think Gandhi was a seminal film in its time because it was huge and sweeping, and I think Richard Attenborough had spent a lot of time, 9 years I think, trying to make that film. And it was very much depicted history as he had seen it at that time. Where the films differ is that my version tells a different version of history of the British Empire in India in the last days of the Raj compared to Gandhi. And I think that I really wish Richard Attenborough had been around today because I think he would really enjoy this take. And I think what's been very interesting in Britain is that the majority of Britishers have actually taken all this on the chin. I mean, you know, Churchill is a hero for many in Britain, but he's also not a hero for many in Britain and out of Britain. So the film challenges you in one of the biggest Britishers, heroes of Britain, and his deeds, because of course a lot of what the British did, they did in their own interest, not in the interest of India. And in the end of, I think Gandhi does not challenge that, whereas Partition 1947 absolutely challenges the role of empire, the last days of empire, and the legacy of the British that was left in India.
Gurinder ma'am.
G. Because, so I am a very unusual film director working today. I'm British and I'm also Indian. I'm Punjabi and I'm also a mother. These four things are very unusual. In fact, I can't think of anyone else who has that position. Unique combination. This film is made definitely by somebody who is both British and Indian and a woman and a mother. Because mothers, we don't get to make films about great tragedies, with lots of violence and turbulence. Mothers don't get to do that. So for us, when our children misbehave and fight, what we have to do is give them a moral guidance. We have to say, "Bache, acha chalo ho gaya, you go apologize, don't let this happen again." So as mothers, our approach to life and humanity is to make things better, is to heal wounds, instruct our children to reach a higher moral place. So in that sense, if I was going to make a film about partition 70 years later, it was very important for me that I did something that took us to a different level. In terms of the change, being this unique combination means I have to appeal to people in Britain, Goras, middle class, upper class Goras like the Mountbattens, as well as working class, Australians, Americans, people all over the globe, as well as Indians, and I try and do that as best as I can. I mean, I have the one statistic that no one else has. I made a film that was #1 in India and England at the same time, and that was Bride and Prejudice. And that's not, no one else has done that yet. So I think that what I'm learning more and more is that there are certain things that appeal to an Indian audience and appeal to the Indian side of me, just as there are to the English side of me. So Partition 1947 is a great title for the film, and in fact that was the working title of the film for many years. All the early scripts are called Partition. It was in England that they thought Viceroy's House was a better title.
But for India, Partition 1947 is a better title than Viceroy's House. It has a better
Much
connect.
better.
Yeah.
And even the trailer, for me, gets to the point, In the,
That's Indians, no?
It's
We just get to the point.
I mean, the English trailer is great because गोरे को भी खुश करना चाहिए था ना हमको. So, we kind of, we showed it like a great, sumptuous British period drama, which I wanted to make. I wanted to make a film like they make in Britain. I just wanted to have the people who are normally, the Indians who are normally extras and on the side be center stage. So for Britain, it was a subversive film because all these extras, these knockers, they took the emotion of the film in the end, not the Mountbattens. Whereas in India, I think we've gone for the real reason why I made the film, which was the politics. The reason why my grandparents suffered at that time and why I don't have a homeland, an ancestral homeland to call my own. That was the real reason for me to make the film, and I think the Indian trailer that Reliance have put together absolutely hits the nail on the head.
Hi, Huma. Hi. Congratulations for the trailer. How was it working with Gurinder, and also the trailer that went on Berlin Film Festival?
The trailer that went on?
Berlin Film Festival.
Right. Well, tough. Gurinder is a very tough director. She's a lovely director, but a very tough director. If she is not happy with what you're doing, she will keep working till she gets what she wants. And I think that's brilliant, because this is not an easy film to make. जब मैंने ये स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ी तो मुझे लगा it's a very unusual Gurinder Chadha film. You know, we associate her with Pride and Prejudice, with Ben Like Beckham. These are very like diaspora, you know, slice of life problem films. I mean, but this was a much bigger film. So for me, it was interesting because, and also what she said, no, her origin is so unique as a British and a Punjabi filmmaker, that she's a very interesting person to make a film like this. And in her films, women always have a very strong voice. Like her female characters are very well etched out. So I was very excited to, of course, work with her. But she's a force of nature. She's excited about the film that she does. The film is like her baby, so how she would scold her children and make sure they do the right thing. I think she treated all her actors like that, and it was great. It was a great collaboration. It was fun working with her, and she's also great fun. But that's always when we're not shooting. And it was a very difficult film to make for all of us. It was hot. It was dusty. हमने जोधपुर और जोधपुर के बाहर आउटस्कर्ट्स में शूटिंग की थी अगस्त सितंबर में गर्मी में मतलब जैसे जल के काले हो गए थे हम लोग बट आई थिंक it was worth it because we all knew we were making and being a part of something really, really special. So I think it's a very brave film for her to do. And like she said, it's a very timely film for her to pick because she could have done actually any other film, you know, but to do a film like this as a woman, I think it's not easy and hats off.
Thank you.
Hats off.
Thank you.
मैम हाय मेरा नाम हेलो मैम या मैम मेरा सवाल आपसे है गुरिंदर मैम से कि मैम लेडी माउंट बेटन का कितना रोल था पार्टीशन में अगर आप कुछ बता पाएं क्योंकि रिसर्च आपने बहुत
Well, मैं ये दिखाना चाहती हूँ जो कुछ असलियत था and Lady Mountbatten she was much more politically astute than her husband. Her husband was very much into his clothes, his badges, his medals, the pomp and splendor of his class, being part of the royal family. He was a very vain man, and I wanted to show that. That was part of his thing. He was more excited about introducing the zipper, you know, to India, and whereas she was his conscience. She constantly was saying to him, don't rush what you're doing, wait. Don't just go for partition, wait. So I think that